Big news. The Almanac is officially back. The most exhaustive and comprehensive guide to the 2023-24 college basketball season is available for pre-order now. If you go to cbbalmanac.com, link is in the description below, you can pre-order for just $15.99 or 20% off the sticker price. The format is going to be a little bit different this season. Instead of an 850-page PDF, you'll be getting access to the full site with league-by-league PDFs available for download. The preview will be live on September 20th, so you have until then to be able to get your pre-orders in. So for insight for all 362 Division I teams from their head coaches and the experts that cover them, make sure you hit that link.
Welcome to another edition of the Field of 68's Offseason Grades. And for this one, we are heading out to Friar Town, where a new era begins. Kim English, defined as a rising star in college basketball, takes over the Providence College Friars after quite the move by now former head coach Ed Cooley. We'll get to that. I'm John Fanta. Rob Dalster is with me to talk Providence College basketball. And Rob, this is a program that went through a seismic change because of just how constant of a force this program has been with the association between team and head coach, the head coach being Ed Cooley. But Kim English comes in, and he's established this mindset, and there's a chip on the shoulder mentality, but make no mistake about it, there's some real talent that the Friars possess.
Yeah, the biggest thing that Kimmy did this offseason was he went out and he made sure to bring back Bryce Hopkins, and he made sure to bring back Devin Carter. Fancy, you know the Big East as well as anybody. I don't know if there is a better 1-2 punch in that conference. I don't know how many better 1-2 punches there are in college basketball, period, than Devin Carter and Bryce Hopkins. Bryce is, the quintessential 6'7" combo forward, can overpower smaller players, can take bigger players on the perimeter. He's a bucket getter. He can score in the mid post. He's got some college mellow vibes to him, right? I don't think that's crazy to say. There was, if you took a snapshot of the Big East in about the second week of February, right, when Providence was sitting in first place in the conference, there was an argument to be made that Bryce Hopkins was the player of the year in the league and that Devin Carter was a first-team all-league player. Carter is like maybe the best defender in college basketball. Kim told me the other day that he is the toughest player that he's ever been associated with, college, pro, overseas, NBA, wherever. And when you combine those two coming back, that's a program-changing, season-changing get for Kim English. I think getting Garwey Dual to come back or to stay committed is massive as well. He is probably the most talented player on the roster. Now, there are guys like Sam Vecini that will tell you that this kid's got a chance to be a lottery pick this year. Kind of need to see it from him to believe it, but the talent is there. 6'5", athletic, can get to the basket, can pass it a little bit, really good defender. There's a lot to like about this roster. I like the pieces that he's bringing with him from George Mason. I think that Ticket Gaines is the ideal 3-and-D piece that you want on a Big East team. I think that Josh Aduro's ability to pull people away from the basket is going to be really important. I think we're going to see 5-out offense from Providence. I think that there is a very real chance that the Friars are a top 15 team in college basketball this season. You tell me, you think that's crazy? Do you think that's am I getting out of pocket with that take?
Well, I think that they are a top 25 team. If they're going to be a top 15 team, that's extremely impressive, considering there are the likes of Creighton, Marquette, UConn, Villanova, St. John's, all within your own league. So if you're top 15, that means that, and if it's January or February, then Friartown is going to be on fire. Not that it ever isn't, but that building's going to be as nuts as it was 2 years ago when Providence went on that magical run. I'm with you. And I think Devin Carter is one of the most underrated players in the country because Ed Cooley, when he brought him in, knew that he was a good defensive player. Devin Carter averaged 13 points per game, 3 assists. He shot 43%, and that three-point shot wasn't even all the way there. Imagine if that can get into the mid-30s here this upcoming season. I think for Providence, there's no question, Rob, Bryce Hopkins could be the best player in the Big East. And you just said it with Garwey Duel. I mean, a guy that he's ranked 44th in the 24/7 sports rankings, but there's a lot of talk that's not even a proper ranking for him, as you said with Sam Vecenie, where he has Duel going in next year's NBA draft. We also should not forget about Jaden Pierre and Corey Floyd. And Corey Floyd got better and better and better as last season went on. He felt more comfortable. I think we all know that move from UConn to Providence created its own shockwaves, because that's just not something that you're going to see every day. It took him time. Once he got his feet under him and started to figure some things out, he really grew into a strong role player. Pierre, to me, is the intriguing player here, because he's going to be a sophomore. And I think we saw last year him processing everything. Does the game slow down for him? Is he able to now put something together in his sophomore year? I think of this team, so they've got that centerpiece player in Bryce Hopkins. They've got multiple guard options. I think for me, the question that I'm asking coming in, that I'm intrigued to watch get answered, they've got more than enough options. But before the ball gets to Hopkins, whether it be at the elbow or on a post-up, who's got the ball in their hands on the perimeter late in games that Kim English is trusting to make that play?
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest question with them as well, is who is the point guard that you trust? And I do think that you kind of need Pierre to step into that role. I think you need him to embrace that role. I think that Devin Carter can do a job there. I don't know if he's necessarily like that's his strength isn't as the lead guard, the distributor, the facilitator, setting everybody up. His strength is he is an elite defender. He is terrific at getting to the basket. He's going to set a ton of toughness. There's a leadership, all those kind of intangible things. And I think that Pierre can be that guy. And I think that the priority that Kim put on making sure that kid came back is something that should not be overstated. I mean, we've all heard the story by now, right? Where he challenged him to a game of one-on-one on Instagram Live to where the winner, if he won, he got to keep his name in the portal. And if he lost, he had to pull his name out. Kim won that game, by the way. And I think that is going to be something that really matters. But, you know, if I had to set an X factor for this team, I think it actually is Kim. And what I mean by that is I'm a big believer in him. I think he is a very sharp basketball mind. I think he's young enough that he can still go out there and play and show these kids, hey, look, you know, I was only in the league for 2 years, but this is what I can still do. Good luck trying to check me. I think that he relates to the players at a level that maybe someone that is 55, 60, 65 doesn't. I think he embraces, one, the modernization of the game, and two, the modernization of everything around the sport, from NIL to marketing opportunities to all that. But he's also 34 years old. This is his third year as a head coach. He's won 34 career games, and he's in a conference that has reigning national champion UConn, that has Marquette, who is coming off of a dual Big East title last season, that has Villanova, that has Greg McDermott and Creighton, that has Rick Pitino at St. John's, that has Ed Cooley at Georgetown. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on.
Miller.
And Sean Miller at Xavier. Like, how do I even forget about that? So he's walking into a league with a bunch of guys that have done it for decades, and this is his third year. So it's going to be fascinating to see him kind of grow into this coaching role at the level that he's going to be at, and how quickly. I mean, we talk about it with up transfers, right? We talk about it with freshmen. Why don't we talk about it with some of these young coaches? The way that he's able to adapt to this level of coaching, I think, is going to be as important to anything else when it comes to Providence being able to be good. I think he's going to figure it out. We'll see if it ends up happening.
Look, here's the thing. I agree with you on English. I think he is a stud. I think he relates with the players extremely well, and he is that X factor in a lot of ways because, and I think he's already done this. He establishes a culture. He's done that right away, and it's easy to see why Providence AD Steve Napolillo did not waste much time when he.
You know what it is. You say establish a culture. I don't mean to cut you off, but like there's a level of with Kim. There's a level of he's going to prove it to you, right? Like that. He's one of those guys where I just don't bet against him finding a way to get stuff done, whatever it is. And I think that fits really well with the Providence fan base, who kind of has this like we're constantly overlooked. Everybody looks down at us. Like they have a chip on their shoulder as fans, and I think that connection with that coach and that AD and the way that they do everything there is just it's a fit that makes too much sense. Right? Am I wrong? I just love that marriage between Kim English and the Providence community.
Absolutely. And this is a great program that's in a great place. Make no mistake about it. There was a lot of debate over the offseason about programs and who's better, and we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. What I'll tell you is this. Terrific practice facility. Like as good of a practice facility as you're going to find. What they've built there is pretty insane. Their facilities are remarkable because they're the pro team in Providence. The Friars are the pro team in Providence. For those who don't know, get to Providence, Rhode Island sometime. Put it on your list. It's first off, it's a terrific town. It's a great place to spend a college basketball weekend and get to a game, and you'll understand. Therefore, NIL is set up there. They've got the resources. They've got the assets. Now they've got a coach who's motivated, who's fired up, who's been doubted. He fits what they're doing. This was not under no circumstances do I or you or anybody wish upon Providence what they had to go through over the course of a week with their coach of 12 years departing, who looked like he could be there for life, and now you've got to figure out a way to get somebody that fits your mold, and they found him as quickly as they did. That is a credit across the board to the people that were making the decisions. And you kept your dudes committed to your program. You kept the guys that you need to win this upcoming season. So, honestly,
Pano, let me ask you this. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, we saw when Kim went from George Mason to Providence that he brought Josh Aduro, he brought Justin Fernandez, he brought Ticket Gaines with him, right? What do you think on a scale of 1 to 10? How nuclear would the meltdown have been if when Ed Cooley left for Providence for Georgetown, if he would have brought Devin Carter, Bryce Hopkins, and Garwey Dual with him? How would there be like parties leaving Providence to go and try to hunt down Ed Cooley in DC? Is that something that you think would be happening?
To say the least, the anger is already present, as well it should be, and it would have been tenfold had that happened. Now, remember, like this is where the transfer rule helped Providence out because those guys had already transferred into the program. Providence the past couple of years has been Portal U. I mean, that's what they've been. They've been striking it up with the big time portal splashes. So the fact that those guys kind of had to, I mean, if they go to Georgetown, then we're talking waivers, then we're talking loopholes. Are they able to find a way to get eligible? Whatever. I'm glad that they stayed. I think it adds even more intrigue to when Ed Cooley comes back, which I will credit. How convenient is this? As we are literally doing this offseason grades, I'll give some news as we're literally on the air. We'll credit John Rothstein, who is hearing from sources now that Georgetown and Providence, the game in Rhode Island next season, Ed Cooley's return to the AMP, is expected to be held when students are on campus and not during winter break. The game is also expected to be played on the weekend. Rob, will you be there?
Well, Fanta, let's just if it's say a game kind of in that like late January, early February range, and let's just say it happens to be an 8 p.m. tip-off on Big Fox. Let's just say that I think that Field of 68 After Dark will be on campus for that matchup. I don't know. All right, we'll get into expectations in a second, but I got to know. Out of every game in college basketball next season, right? any game that can be played anywhere between 82 teams, including the Champions Classic, including a Final Four matchup. Where does Georgetown at Providence rank in terms of games that you have to be in attendance for?
Number one.
Number one. Number one.
Number one.
I don't think. See, that's not crazy. That's not crazy to me.
Well,
Like I would have it top 5. I'm going to put Champions Classic up there.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm going to put the Final Four, like the Final Four games up there. But once you get past that, best regular season game I think that we're going to find this year. I cannot wait.
Yes, because it's at a true home court. And there is hatred is a strong word in sports. Strong word in life.
Not in this conversation.
Not in that building. Not that night. Not in that building. Okay. Betrayal is a strong thing and it's real and it happens and it did happen here. And here's the deal. For the people.
Well, here's the deal. We'll walk in. Well, me, you, and Goodman will walk into that building and you know what'll happen?
Walking in with Goodman.
Yeah, they won't hate us as much as they hate anybody. We won't be the most hated people in that gym, which will be nice. It'll be a refreshing change of pace.
Here's the thing. You're right. I look at that situation and I just that is going to be unbelievable because again, if you've never been to that place for a game, it's already a zoo. Last year, they hosted Northeastern on a Saturday night, and they got a sold-out house in the first week of the season, like a full sellout of 13,000. So that place has grown into one of the toughest places to play in the sport. For the people who are suggesting that Chris Beard's return once upon a time to Lubbock will be worse than what this will be, remember, Chris Beard wasn't a Texas Tech alum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ed Cooley is so attached to Providence. At least Chris Beard went to the place that he went to school. All right? He went from Texas Tech to his alma mater. Ed Cooley is going back to the alma mater, basically. I mean, he didn't go to Providence College, he went to Stonehill, but it might as well be. So this is going to be insane. And that's probably my biggest thing. I'll give the Friars the offseason grade. I think they got the hire correct. I like the fact that they could keep their mainstay players with them. I like the players that Kim English brings in. I mean, I'm going to give this Providence College program an A for their offseason grade.
Yeah, I don't know how they could have done better. I would go with an A+. Like, what could they have done that could have worked out better in the scenario for them? Maybe they could have gotten another guy that could end up being a first-round pick out of the transfer portal, right? Maybe they could actually have landed a point guard. I think that Kimmy trusts Jaden Pierre, right? So I don't know what they could have done better this offseason than what they did. What do you – so set the level of expectation here, right? Because I feel like we have – hype them up quite a bit. I think that it would be a successful season for Providence if they're in and around the top 25 the entire year. They win 23 games heading into the Big East tournament, right? They are in the top 5 in the Big East standings heading into the Big East tournament, and they make they're a threat to win the Big East title once you kind of get into February, right? I'm not saying they got to be the favorite. I'm saying they got to at least be within striking distance once you kind of get into, the second half of Big East conference play. I think expecting them to win the league title with Marquette bringing basically everybody back, with UConn being absolutely loaded, with Creighton being really, really good, I think is a touch too far. But I said this the other day. If I had to tier the Big East, I would say Marquette and UConn are tier 1A. I would put Creighton in tier 1B, and then I would have Providence and Villanova in that second tier. So if you finish in the top 5 in the Big East, I think that is that would be considered a good season.
I'm really intrigued by what happens after a couple of the teams at the very top of the league. I think that's going to be fascinating. That's for a whole different segment because Rick Pitino just adds such a different dimension of the conference. But Kim English will too. And Providence College basketball isn't going anywhere. That program has the pieces, and they've got a couple of studs in Hopkins and Carter. The Friars, they should just keep on going. We'll just see how far they go this upcoming season as the English era arrives.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.